Hey y'all, Melissa here at Twin Oaks Family Farm, the name of our home place in rural Southeast Ohio, USA, and the name of our YouTube channel here. Thanks so much for supporting it. YouTube channel is growing. Really excited about seeing the watch hours come up, getting closer and closer to the metrics we need to be fully engaged in the YouTube AdSense program. Thank you all for supporting our channel with the watch hours. This video, we're just checking chickens, taking you along with me. We've had some shift and update in where our egg production hens are staying. We're working toward getting into full swing of meat birds arriving here in a little over a month. So really focusing in right now on trying to get our egg chickens all up here to this kind of west side of our home place, looking out at the new miniature chicken coop, the 8-foot by 8-foot chicken coop build. We're going to go down there and see the build and see the hens. We've got about 18 hens using it and they are loving it. So going to check on these gals right here and actually tell you what's going on up here this evening. I'll be at work, but we have, kind of this ongoing plan of where we need the hens to be. So the guys have some goals up here to take care of this evening. Let's get in here and check for eggs. So in this group, the hens are probably approaching 2 years old. Mostly production reds. See the dark red hens? They are production reds. And their genetic lineage is not quite heritage, but is a combination of two heritage breeds. They are a combination of Rhode Island red chickens and New Hampshire red chickens. These gals here, so pretty, so unique. They are younger than the production reds, probably by a good six months or so at least. And these gray ones are called Americanas, so they lay colorful eggs. This is a white leghorn. They are excellent egg production birds. They lay white eggs. A lot of the eggs you would get at a grocery store are probably, the white grocery store eggs are probably coming from white leghorns. There are also brown leghorns. Incidentally, I do think the brown leghorns lay brown eggs. I'm going to have to double check that. Does anybody have some brown leghorns at home? Let me know. So one of those situations where, the shell color does seem to match up with the feather color on the bird, but it's just kind of a fluke because feather color does not determine egg color. Genetics determines egg color, and we actually get more of a clue about egg color from the chicken's earlobe than we do from their feather color. So that's another story for another time. Feel free to ask about in the comments if you'd like. But leghorns, like this white one there, very light-bodied, very agile. Birds like these production reds tend to be heavier bodied, less agile, less flighty, but our leghorn is calm, so she fits right in. Now our Americanas there, those are actually fairly heavy-bodied birds, but they are very agile. So we do have a couple eggs back here in this nesting corner that these hens like. You can see they have egg boxes, but they still, a lot of them still prefer a little nesting corner down here. We do have two gals at the office. Let's grab the eggs. She wants to be chatty because I'm down here in her space. Girlfriend, we're just getting some eggs picked up. That's the routine. That's the routine, friend. So she's probably letting me know, hey, don't disturb me, because they know sometimes I'll come in and check the boxes while they're sitting in them. We're going to let her be in peace. No worries, friend. Okay, so this little hen house is at least 13 foot by 12 foot floor space. And we have about 24 hens in here right now, these hens that we've been looking at. We just got some eggs from. We actually got eggs from this hen house a little earlier in the day as well. So we go throughout the day 4 to 6 times throughout the day checking eggs. But this hen house is about 12 foot by 13 foot. Currently has 24 hens in it. We are just fixing to go over and see another group of about 15 hens that are slightly older than this group and have a mixture of breeds in the group, they're actually going to be moved into this pen this evening. So we'll go over and see them, and I'll tell you why we're doing that. Incidentally, there's one of our totally black hens. That one is probably Elvira. We have two of them that are kind of twins like that. We have found a way, with help of our viewer Tina, to kind of distinguish between the two of them. And actually Tina named them for us. So shout out to Tina B. Morticia and Elvira are the black hens. Are they I Am Chimani? Are they not? We don't know. We don't care. We love them. Y'all can look up that breed, I Am Chimani, if you want to read about a very interesting chicken breed. As I said, it'd be so cool if we could know for sure that these hens, Morticia and Elvira, truly are. But regardless, we don't care. We enjoy having them here, and we're just using them in our egg production flock and not for a breeding program. But they are really super pretty. So let's go in and see this other group of hens up here at the hen house before we go down to the new chicken coop build. There's one of our gals and another one of our gals. And so actually both of those gals, this date is February 6th, 2025. And both of those gals would have been either February or March 2024 birds. So they're coming up about a year old. One is a Moran, the one that keeps popping in and out. And the other one is actually an Americana. Okay, so this pen is actually slightly smaller than the one we were just in. Currently, it's only housing about 15 hens. They're different ages, different stages, all different kinds of breeds. Several Americanas. There's an Americana. There's Puffy Cheeks. She's an Americana, and our oldest hen here, because of the backlighting, you're not getting a real good look at her feather coloring. There's a Moran, a variety of a Moran that's about a year old. This is Phoebe, just heading out the door. And that is credit to Debbie down in Florida at Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm. You want to check them out on YouTube. One of the most informative poultry channels. Perfect for anybody that loves their backyard flocks and wants to be really knowledgeable about chickens. Go check out Mother Clucker's Chicken Farm. But Debbie down there helped us name the one that I called Phoebe. This is one of our black copper Morans. That egg was already under there. It's not her egg. That's a colorful egg from one of the Americanas. And this black copper Moran is going to be laying an egg. She lays typically a fairly good sized brown egg with usually a heavy dark brown bloom on it. Hello. So a variety of chickens here in this house. I will want to get that egg from there. So if you're raising chickens, or not raising chickens but still curious about their basic needs, food and water, shelter, protection from predators, and enrichment. And that pretty much keeps them happy and takes good care of them. Hello, friend. This is probably one of the production reds that got herself over here in this group. But as far as food and water, can give you some reference points on that. Feed about a 1/4 pound per hen per day, or per chicken per day. We have all hens in our flocks, but about a 1/4 pound of feed per chicken per day. And water, about a pint of water per chicken per day. So if you have a large flock or several groups, just multiply those figures out over how many chickens you have, and you have a pretty good idea how much food and water to provide for them. So these gals, this one is dust bathing. She's an Americana, and this is another white leghorn. She may be dust bathing, but that's also a corner that they really like to nest in. So I don't know if there's eggs under her or not. She may move and we may get to see. But Puffy Cheeks had been sitting there earlier in the day. So nobody has laid any eggs there. So they must have been kind of dust bathing over here in this corner. And again, back over here where the black copper Moran is, you can see we have lovely nest boxes here in this pen. And again, they really, really like this nesting corner. So we are actually utilizing that observation in the new chicken coop. Let's go down there now and take a look there. Hey, Elvira. And this is another one of our girls that is probably 2.5 years old or so. So this is the outside of the chicken coop that we were just in, and those 15 hens that are currently in there, they're going to move over to that first coop we were in with all those production reds, and we're going to get this end of that coop empty because we have some chickens that need to move in there right away. So we'll show you those here in just a bit before we end the video, but we're taking a stroll down here to this new chicken coop, and it's smaller than the other ones. It's 8 foot by 8 foot. Let's get over there and take a closer look at that flock that's there. So this is a little temporary chicken yard around this 8 foot by 8 foot coop, and I'm kind of trying to get to a vantage point where y'all can see the coop we've been using and then this coop kind of in the same shot. And from this vantage point, you probably don't get the size discrepancy between the two. Here come the gals. But when we come onto our property on the driveway, we can also see both of these buildings, and from a greater distance, this coop that we've just built, the one closer to us here, looks tiny compared to the chicken hen shed that is in the background behind it. But we eventually are wanting to put in several of these little coops right here in this area where I am, and actually get all of our laying hens over here. So we started out kind of trial and erroring this little chicken coop build that's somewhat of a merging of a greenhouse design and coop design. And we want to be able to have the chickens always able to spend their daytimes outside with access to get back into their coop as they want. So you can see they have a lot of grass here to forage on. They actually have a lot of natural cover they can opt to utilize if they want. We've went ahead and put feed ration out here for them in case they do want it. I just love this. I just love it. This is my goal with our chickens of what I want to get to where we have that safe place for them. We're providing them their food and their water and some shelter and some, well, and total security from predators as much as possible, but also letting them have this foraging experience and opportunity. It's just awesome. It's just awesome. So I'm going to peek at the back of this shed. This is the first time that we're showing anybody the chicken door. It is not anything special. It is not anything fancy. It is literally part of the siding. A piece of it was cut out, and they had a piano hinge. That's the hardware up at the top. Had a piano hinge that they could hinge that piece back onto the shed with. They made a hole there to stick like an S-hook through that's on a chain, and that's fastened in the building. And the bottom, when we shut the little chicken door for the nighttime, it shuts flush in here, just like a piece of siding. And this was cut from scrap pieces of the siding, and it, with the door shut, then this secures it closed and fastened so that nothing can get in there. So and here's from the outside looking in, and there's one of the nesting corners. So I mentioned that in the other building, so we'll go inside and I'll tell you why we're using those in here. So far today, all egg checks, we've collected about 21 eggs. Look at the lovely chickens. Enjoying being outdoor chickens. So for them, we do have their water inside. We have a flock block inside here. We are only at this point using the nesting corners. We do want to add some finishing touches, like some roost points and perch places for them, because they are in overnight. So like end of day, they've demonstrated the homing instinct, come back in here, we'll close the chicken door, and they've been utilizing both of these corners for nesting. This is another Americana. This is another black copper Moran. She is actually new here, and this Americana has been here couple years. So no additional eggs from here to get right now. We already got 10 eggs out of this group. There's only a total of 18 hens here. So we may get a few more eggs out of here this afternoon, or that may be all we get from this group today. Did y'all know it takes hens actually 24 to 26 hours to completely make the egg and go through the process of getting the egg produced and laid? So we tend to think that they lay an egg a day when they're actively laying, but it actually could extend a little beyond a day to about 26 hours at a time in between egg laying. And then, of course, we have to remember eggs are really a seasonal product. We kind of tend to forget that in modern society because eggs are readily available. You want to tell us all about the eggs? Eggs are readily available all the time. So we have a tendency to forget that they really, truly are a seasonal product, but they are. So there are times of year when hens as individuals or maybe entire flocks will go off of egg laying and you won't be getting egg production, but then they will resume egg laying at some point. And as they get older, they may not lay as frequently as they did when they were younger. And in fact, it's really kind of a cool trivia fact that when they're babies, when they're hatched, there's already like a predetermined amount of eggs that individual is going to be able to lay over a lifetime. And you're not going to change the number of eggs that individual is predetermined to be capable of laying in the lifetime. You might use artificial means of like round-the-clock lighting programs to keep that hen in production and keep her laying more frequently, but that's just going to hasten the end of her egg production span if we do that. So that's really kind of an interesting thing about hens and egg production. Some of them are heading back outside. I wonder if the black copper Moran will go as well. Maybe not. Yeah, she does want to go outside. She's going outside. So at this point, the fencing situation is a temporary thing. You can see the black feathered hen over there. She actually is supposed to be over here. And here's a good example. As I said, it's this kind of temporary. It's really kind of a suggestion. We sort of ran the ends of it into that thick weed cover to kind of suggest to these hens, hey, we would like you to stay in this area, but this is temporary because obviously they can figure out that they can get around it. But it also helps us like end of day to funnel them, toward their chicken coop, and their homing instinct kicks in at dusk. Chickens know to go home. They know to go to whatever safe place they've established a sense of connection with. So we did run a little bit of fence. Hard to see it here, but we did run a little bit of fence here as well. Again, it terminates there so the hens can go beyond it. Like I said, temporary, but we are working on our plans of like, how do we want to fence this area in? So it's looking like 2 stretches of about 80 foot each, and then a couple stretches of about 50 foot each will be the overall footprint of what we fence. And it'll take in where these vegetation and weeds have been allowed to grow up, and then we'll be able to get all of our laying hens here. So we're so excited about that. So I mentioned that second hen house we were in, we are moving those hens over to the first hen house we were in. So we'll go down and show you the birds that will be moving into that end closest to us here. And once that gets accomplished, we'll have all of our laying hens right up here in the same area, getting them closer to eventually being here in this part of our property that we want to make the headquarters for our egg production hens. So on our way there, I was also going to mention, this is a 3-foot fence. We would not expect that to keep the chickens in. They could easily clear a 3-foot fence if they want to. Plus, obviously, with this one, it's not totally a closed circuit, so that makes it very accessible for them to leave it. This fence is about 6 foot tall, and actually some of those Americanas and the white leghorns can actually get over top of that fence. But our heavy-bodied birds like the Orpingtons, the Morans, the Rhode Island Reds, production Reds, they don't go over top of that fence. We have noticed, got to take into consideration the ground on both sides of your fence when you think about different animals and if it's, you know, chicken proof of them getting out and predator proof of predators getting in. We've noticed, like with the leghorns and the Americanas that can get out, it's interesting that they can actually get out of this fence, but then once they're out, because of the way the ground slopes away from it, they can't get back into it over the fence because it's you know, a higher jump from the outside of the fence up to its top than from the inside of the fence to its top. So always have to be taking into consideration those things. We have a tolerance for the ones that clear this fence because we can just walk them back over to the doors and let them back in. They generally want to go back in. But we are thinking over in this area, when we do the permanent fence, if you totally want to prevent them flying over, you probably need to go to 7 or 8 foot tall. We're not going to. We're probably going to go to 5 foot tall on whatever fence we decide to put over here for our hens. So this is our meat bird barn. In less than a month, we'll be moving Cornish Rock Cross meat chickens in here. But currently there are Rhode Island Red pullets in here. So pullets are young female chickens that are not at the point of lay yet. These birds were hatched October 23rd. We always expect with Rhode Island Reds to see them get to what we call the point of lay, where they're ready to begin laying eggs at about 20 weeks old, which is also to say at about 5 months old. So we fully expect these birds to get to the point of lay pretty soon. We start October 23rd, November, December, January, February, March 23rd would be the 20 weeks or 5 months. That's when we expect to see these young female chickens get to the point of lay, but we need them out of this building like pronto. So certainly within the next couple days, they're going to move up to the one end of the chicken coop where we saw the group of hens that was a lot of mixed breeds in there, some of our older hens. So these birds will be going there, and then at that point we will have all of our egg production chickens up there in one area.